Delighted to say, joining us now, 1999 treble winner with Manchester United. A very good morning to Peter Schmeichel. Morning, Peter.
Morning, Peter. How are you, mate?
Good morning, Ali. Good morning, Jeff. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, mate. Now, my question is one that will probably stun the listeners because they don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm looking behind you, and you must have about 7 or 8 guitars on that wall. The question is, do you play them, and where did you get them from?
I do play them, yeah. I mean, actually, those behind me there, I never really use them. The ones I use are over there. Yeah, it's a passion of mine. People collect different things. My father, for instance, collected violins. So when he passed away, we were cleaning out like 120 violins. When they clean up after me, it's guitars.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
In terms of the game, Peter, I mean, let's talk with Erik Ten Hag first of all. Afterwards, he said, we were really close to winning or getting a draw. Were they really?
What is he supposed to say? I mean, Manchester United is so far behind Man City, and that game yesterday just showed that, proved that. Every single Man City player are working hard for the 98 minutes they played, or whatever it was, 112 minutes they played. I mean, Phil Foden scored 2 goals, and there is a situation in, I think it's in added on time, where he's chasing back like a crazy man to win a throw-in. Now, when you look at the Manchester United team, you don't have any players who's doing that, which, I mean, in modern day football, that's what you have to do. First of all, you have to work hard. So he's using words like, they were energized, he's got to say these things. He's still got games to go this season. He's still got to have some belief, or put some belief to his players. So I think more than anything, when he comes out after the game and speaks, he's actually speaking to his players. But I have to be honest, what he said there is not the game that I saw.
Looking at it, Peter, I mean, clearly he set up, far more defensively and understandably, because there's a train of thought. If you take City on at the game that they are brilliant at, then they could rip you apart. It could end up a flick of a switch when 3, 4 or 5. But could they have played any other way? I mean, Manchester United, is this just where we are at this moment in time, where Manchester United have got to play against City in that formation?
Well, I think you have to play, it doesn't matter who you are, you have to play like City in that formation. But what you do have to have is you got to have pace up front, really, really, really quick players, because what they have at the back is they've got experience, they've got cleverness, and they've got pace. I mean, Kyle Walker, Aki yesterday, I mean, Aki, he was running, with Garnacho, catching him up, surprised me with the pace that he's got. So you gotta have that to give yourself a chance. I think that's just a general thing. Now, when you've chosen to play like that, there is a limit to how deep you can fall when you play Man City. And I thought as the game progressed, I thought the team fell in a little bit too deep. For my liking, I would have pushed them up a little bit. And also then when you need to change the game, at the moment they've equalized and they've scored again, the substitutions that you make, you take all your pace off. You take your driving force in midfield off. You take your best defender off. I don't get that. Are they being rested for the next game? Or I really, really don't get the substitutions. And when you look what Pep's doing, Pep's only substituting 2 players. I mean, generally he doesn't substitute a lot. Yesterday, those substitutions, I thought that from that moment on, I just don't get it, Yes, Rashford, he scores a really, really good goal, but he is a threat. And we've seen that in the game. He only needs one pass and he's through. Why take him off? Why put somebody on who hasn't made an assist since April? He hasn't scored a goal since April. Why put somebody like that on instead of Rashford? Why take Garnacho off? I don't get it. And of course, when you take, for me, the best midfield player we've had for years, and he played really well yesterday, Mino, when you take him off and put somebody on who doesn't fit into the team, I just don't get that.
When we talk of the gulf between the 2 sides, Peter, how the heck do United close that gulf? Because I'm thinking about any rebuilding job. I mean, where do you even start? If you look at the back, Evans, Lindelof, Varane in midfield, Casemiro, Eriksen probably both be on their best. A couple of rookies, if you like, up front with Højlund and Garnacho. Where do you start a rebuilding process?
Well, I think there's a great opportunity now with Ineos coming in as minority owners, taking over the football business, or by the looks of it, a lot, taking over a lot. So that here's an opportunity to kind of identify, who is it that we want to be. So in a way, as you start up a company, you do a mission statement. This is what we want to be. This is how we're going to go about that. That opportunity is there now. So I think when I saw the interview with Jim Ratcliffe the other day, when he said, "Well, it's a process. It's going to take some time. I'm asking everyone for a bit of patience." Now we've been listening to that for 11 years since Sir Alex left the club, but at no point throughout that period has it made more sense than now. We need time as Manchester United to rebuild a lot in the football club, and that's not just a new stadium. There's a lot of talk about that. That is, of course, the squad, the coaching staff. They've already started the process. The backroom staff, the people behind, the people making decisions on football matters. All of that has got to be. The decisions has got to be made of who to put in there and how that's going to look. And then, of course, you've got to give these people time. And the good thing about this is that Manchester United is a rich football club. Manchester United makes a lot of money, turns over a lot of money. And we know, everybody knows, wasted a lot of money in the last sort of 11 years. So it's not a question of funding. It's a question of making good decisions, having the right people in the right position to make the right choices. That is the opportunity now. If we do this right now, and we all have a little bit of patience, I think that we could be at the top of the next circle of football, because we know it all moves in circle, So we could be preparing for the next period of what football's got to offer.
Peter, just a quick one. How I personally think top four's gone this season. Importance of the FA Cup now, and what a tie they've got.
Yeah, mouth-watering tie, isn't it? We've got a relatively good record against Liverpool in the FA Cup, so I'm not really that bothered about that. Liverpool, they've got their own issues to deal with, a lot of injuries. Very, very important players are injured. I mean, with Alisson, the message that Jurgen Klopp came out with the other day about him might be enough for a bigger part of the season. I think even though that as a Kellner, he's done really, really well. He is a massive player to miss. And then, it's a relatively new midfield they've got. I mean, they don't know what March and April and May, what it's like in the Premier League. It's going to be an interesting tie. And of course, you can put the Premier League to one side and you can just go for it. And I think in many ways it helps if you're not, firing on all cylinders, that you have games like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But of course, it really is important for Manchester United to win trophies. We say this every year. So to stay in that tournament is important. And so let's wait and see.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.